re, ri, re, ki, di, sa, tus, sa, a, cri, tis, re, ri, re, ki, di, sa, tus, sa, a, cri.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Live Free Vendetta Project broadcast. Today is Monday, December 28th, 2020. I decided to do my podcast a little bit early this week. Got some information to cover with y'all. As always, there's so many things happening in the world. Every single day there's different things going on. So as usual, we're going to start with the Bible verse. Then we're going to go to two different topics. Namely, a statement from the President regarding the relief, COVID relief that he just signed. So interesting statement from Donald Trump. We're going to take a look at this book, which I just finished last night. Amazing book called Corona False Alarm, written by Drs. Karina Rice and Dr. Sucharit Bakhadi. And Mr. Dr. Sucharit was actually a medical doctor. He was born in Washington, D.C. He studied medicine at the University of Bonn in Germany, where he received his MD in 1970. He was a postdoctoral researcher at the Max Planck Institute of Immunobiology and Epigenetics in Freiburg from 1972 to 1976. Very interesting. He was named Chair of Medical Microbiology at the University of Mainz in 1990, where he remained until his retirement in 2012. Dr. Bakhadi has published over 300 articles in the fields of immunology, bacteriology, virology, and parasitology, for which he has received numerous awards in the Order of Merit of Rhineland-Palatinate. Interesting. The other person who wrote the book was born in Germany, Miss Karina Rice, and studied biology at the University of Kiel, where she received her PhD in 2001. So we're going to be reviewing that book. Some amazing facts in there regarding COVID. Definitely recommend you check it out. But as always, today we're going to start out with a Bible verse. And here we go. So Isaiah 59:19. So this verse is an encouraging verse. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun? When the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against him. So never forget when the enemy is coming against you, whether it be against your country, against you personally, against your friends, your family. When the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against them. The Lord is always there. You need to pray. You need to reach out to him. Talk to God. He's always there for you when you need him. So again, when the enemy comes in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord will lift up a standard against him. So, first off, we're going to take a look at a statement from the President. Really interesting statement that he did regarding signing the COVID bill. This was issued last night. So it says, as President of the United States, it's my responsibility to protect the people of our country from the economic devastation and hardship that was caused by the China virus. Understand that many small businesses have been forced to close as a result of harsh actions by Democrat-run states. Many people are back to work, but my job is not done until everyone is back to work. And it goes on. As president, I told Congress that I want far less wasteful spending and more money going to the American people in the form of $2,000 checks per adult and $600 per child. So this is very interesting to note. Under the Impoundment Control Act of 1974. As president, I'm demanding many rescissions under the Impoundment Control Act of 1974. The act provides that whenever the president determines that all or part of any budget authority will not be required to carry out the full objectives or scope of programs for which it is provided, or that such budget authority should be rescinded for fiscal policy or other reasons, including termination of authorized projects or activities for which budget authority has been provided, the president shall transmit to both Houses of Congress a special message describing the amount to be reserved, the relevant accounts, the rescissions, the reasons for the rescission, and the economic effects of the rescission. So he said, I will sign the omnibus and COVID package with a strong message that makes clear to Congress that wasteful items need to be removed. I will send back to Congress a red line version, item by item, accompanied by the formal rescission request to Congress, insisting those funds be removed from the bill. So yes, President Trump did sign this bill. He says, I'm signing this bill to restore unemployment benefits, stop evictions, provide rental assistance, add money for PPP, return our airline workers back to work, add substantially more money for vaccine distribution, and much more. So on Monday, which is today, December 28th, the House will vote to increase payments to individuals from $600 to $2,000. And this is what I wanted y'all to note here at the bottom. Very important. Likewise, the House and Senate agreed to focus strongly on the very substantial voter fraud which took place in the November 3rd presidential election. The Senate will start the process for a vote that increases checks to $2,000, repeals Section 230. Section 230, as you can see, additionally, Congress has promised in Section 230, which so unfairly benefits big tech at the expense of the American people, be reviewed and either be terminated or substantially reformed. And go back, repeals Section 230 and starts an investigation into voter fraud. Big tech must not get protections of Section 230. Voter fraud must be fixed. So I don't quite know what Donald Trump has up his sleeve in regards to Section 230 or in regards to the voter fraud investigation. I'm hoping and praying that this will be an important piece. Definitely want to strip the companies of Section 230, which protects them for being sued directly. For instance, I don't believe you can sue them if they take down your posts, if they censor you. You're not allowed to sue them. They are protected. So since they want to be publishers and they want to edit content, I'm not talking about bad content, which illegal activities, selling drugs or something like that. I'm talking about just people's opinions of what's going on with COVID, what's going on with the election fraud, that kind of thing. That will effectively remove their protections from being sued. Right now, they basically can do whatever they want. They can take down your posts, even if they're backed by research and data. If they don't like your thoughts and opinions, they're protected, and they can just remove your content. So that's what's happening over and over again with Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I've had posts censored on Facebook. I've had posts removed on YouTube, a video I did a while back because I gave out some personal opinions on some stuff that I was doing to take care of my health personally with all the stuff going on in the world, just to better improve my health, like going outside, making sure I get plenty of sunshine because your body converts the sunshine into vitamin D, making sure to take zinc, which is helpful, making sure to get plenty of exercise, just tips like that, just personal experience, not from a medical provider standpoint, just from my own personal experience, and that video was censored. So this will effectively remove their protection. So I'm hoping and praying that that will come through and that they will work towards that. So a big deal. So there's this hidden stuff inside of the bill that was signed by President Trump, the budget and spending. So take note of that. I'm sure the mainstream media won't be talking about that, but that's right there in his own statement regarding why he signed it. Sounds like he was kind of backed into a corner. He had to sign it. Unfortunately, this COVID lockdown stuff has really destroyed our economy and many economies across the world. Destroyed many countries already, I'm sure. So it's really, really interesting. So next we're going to move on to a video. We're going to start with a video from Dr. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing, butchering his name, but Dr. Sucharit Bhakdi. So we're going to play this video. It's about 3 minutes long to give you an introduction to what he has to say. Then we're going to go through his book. I'm going to read you some direct quotes. His book here. Corona False Alarm, ? Facts and Figures. Something you definitely need to read. You definitely need to pick up. This is a digital copy. I got my copy for like $12.95 on Amazon. But he was a former medical doctor. Of course, he's retired now. So you definitely want to take a look and see what he has to say. He breaks down all the data. He is in Germany, so a lot of his information is based upon what happened in Germany. But his book is critical for a fair and balanced look at COVID. So let's take a look and see what he has to say in this video here, and then we'll go from there.
June of this year, a book titled Corona False Alarm exploded in Germany, became an instant bestseller. It asked a simple question: is COVID panic worse than the disease? The controversial co-author of this book, Corona False Alarm, Facts and Figures, joins us now. Award-winning researcher, retired microbiologist, Dr. Sucharit Bhakdi. Doctor, thank you for getting up early for all of us, for all these policies, lockdowns, social distancing. Which, in your view, has been the most injurious to the public and not suited to the science?
The looming vaccination.
So the vaccination, on the issue of the vaccination, we'll get to that in a moment, but on the social distancing and the masks, just focusing on that for a moment, which of those two, in your research and your work, has been the most displaced?
Both.
Both have. Not at all
Point.
backed up by the science.
Zero science.
So why are they pushing this if zero science? I mean, they'll show videos of people coughing through masks and without masks, and it's terrifying people here in the country.
This is something that we, and when I say we, it's hundreds and thousands of people are standing up to say, please, all of you, sit down and think about this, read up on this, and then make up your own mind. Don't believe things that people are telling you. Think for yourself and come to your own conclusions. That is why we wrote this book, because all the arguments telling you why what you are doing is absolutely nonsense is in that book. And there's no question that is left open to you. All you have to do is go and read and think.
And doctor, on the issue of the vaccine, tonight, Anthony Fauci on this network actually said that 75% of Americans are going to have to get vaccinated to reach what they call herd immunity. Do you buy that?
What utter nonsense. I know that Dr. Fauci is a renowned
immunologist,
medical scientist and immunologist, but what he says has to be wrong. And this is also what we have taken great lengths to explain in the book.
So pay close attention here in the last minute of this interview. He's going to say something rather astounding. I have played the ending clip before, but never played the full clip that I'm playing. So make sure you pay attention to this last minute here of what this doctor says.
And why, someone who says this has not the slightest inkling of the basics of immunology. And this is very, very surprising for someone of Dr. Fauci's standing. And I would dare to defy him anywhere in the world at any time. But I cannot do this in 2 minutes.
Well, so you believe that the COVID vaccine is not necessary?
I think it's downright dangerous. And I warn you, if you go along these lines, you are going to go to your doom. And it's so unnecessary.
So really interesting. So to play that part again, he says that you will go to your doom
is
due
not
to the vaccine.
necessary?
I think it's downright dangerous. And I warn you, if you go along these lines, you are going to go to your doom. And it's so unnecessary.
Like he says, it's so unnecessary. So really interesting what this doctor would say. By taking the vaccine, you will go to your doom. So I want to play a clip from Dr. Fauci here with his recent interview. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Fauci interview, vaccine. I want to show you all something really interesting before we jump into the book. So we're going to take a look at this interview. Going to take a look at the first few minutes. So pay close attention to what he said.
We just had the most amazing family vacation.
I want you to pay close attention to what he does when he points at. So let's take a look here.
Otherwise, I'm doing really well. Started to get soreness in the arm. This is very typical of vaccine.
So here he's talking about the vaccine that he supposedly got recently. So take a look and see what he does and watch his body language and watch which arm that he taps. And take note of the arm that supposedly got the vaccine and which arm that he taps as being sore. So let's take a look.
I do have a little bit of a sore arm. After the vaccination, it was about maybe 6 to 8 hours. I felt absolutely nothing. And then towards the late afternoon, I started to get soreness in the arm. This is very typical of vaccinations. The same thing happened with other non-COVID vaccines that I've had over the years. I felt a little bit achy, but nothing to be bothering or distracting me. Went to bed last night, had a good night's sleep. Woke up this morning. The only thing I have is just a little bit of a soreness in the arm. Otherwise, I'm doing vaccines that I've...
I'm going to back up the clip again. As you can see in the smaller screen, he got the shot in the left arm. On the interview screen, he's tapping his right shoulder. So let's play this again. And this is all unedited clips. This is directly from CBS News, an interview they did with Dr. Fauci. So let's play this one more time.
I've had over the years. I felt a little bit achy, but nothing to be bothering or distracting me. Went to bed last night, had a good night's sleep. Woke up this morning. The only thing I have is just a little bit of a soreness in the arm. Otherwise, I'm doing really well.
So in case you didn't catch that, he's getting the vaccine in the left arm. Here he touches the right shoulder just a second ago. You can back it up if you want to see it again. Again, I typed in Fauci interview vaccine, original clip from CBS News. So what is going on? Why is the leading health expert on this COVID garbage apparently not even getting the vaccine? Because why is he saying the wrong shoulder hurts? Did he forget? Is he that old? Well, maybe. But I find it very interesting that he taps the wrong shoulder. So I don't think these people are actually getting the vaccine. I think they know there's something in it that could harm you, and I don't think they want to take it, honestly. I think they're just going to pretend to get the shot, so you'll take the shot, but they're either not getting the real vaccine if they are getting injected, or they're just doing stuff like that, tapping the wrong shoulder. Supposedly, Nancy Pelosi got the vaccine with the cap still on. I haven't seen that clip, but that's what I've been hearing. So now we're going to review some of the book here from Corona False Alarm. Again, you can get this on Barnes & Noble. You can get this on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description in case you want to get this book. I highly recommend it. It's a short read. It's only about 136 pages here. It's an excellent, excellent little book walking through all the facts. They gather the data. They gather the research. They cite all their sources. They have graphs. They expose it all, walk you through everything so you can easily see what's going on. So we're just going to read a couple different blurbs. I thought it was really interesting. This is taken from page 55. It's under mandatory masks. It says, number 5, cotton surgical masks can be associated with a higher risk of penetration of microorganisms. Penetration 97%. Moisture retention, reuse of cloth masks, and poor filtration may result in increased risk of infection. I'm just going to read through the points. We are not aware of any single scientifically sound and undisputed article that would contradict the following. Number 1, there's no scientific evidence that symptom-free people without cough or fever spread the disease. Number 2, simple masks do not and cannot stop the virus. If you look at the packaging on those little masks that you like to wear, for those mask wearers out there in your family, it says it doesn't protect you from the virus. Just so you know. Masks do not and cannot protect from infection. Non-medical face masks have very low filter efficacy. And number 5, which I just read, cotton surgical masks can be associated with a higher risk of penetration of microorganisms. Penetration 97%. Moisture retention, reuse of cloth masks, and poor filtration may result in increased risk of infection. So literally wearing your face diaper on your face all the time will actually increase the odds you will get sick. If you get germs on it, it's literally just sitting on your face. You're just breathing in germs over and over. Instead of breathing naturally, breathing how God made you to breathe. Absolutely and totally ridiculous to be wearing masks. It's not scientifically based. So here on page 56, in fact, there is no study to even suggest that it makes any sense for healthy individuals to wear masks in public. One might suspect that the only political reason for enforcing the measure is to foster fear in the population. Why are we still wearing masks? It's utterly and totally ridiculous. I don't wear a mask anywhere unless I absolutely, totally have to, like the hospital or the doctor's office. That's it. I refuse to wear a mask. It's not healthy for you to breathe all that garbage in. So here's an interesting thought, because they sometimes compare COVID to the Spanish flu, page 57. By the time of the Spanish flu, antibiotics were not available to treat secondary bacterial infections that were the main cause of death. Big difference there. Scrolling down, there's always been a coronavirus season. Again, scrolling down. So if any government should decide they want a second wave, all they need to do is radically increase the number of tests in the annual coronavirus season. So more tests equal more positive cases, but not necessarily more deaths. So let's continue on. Just going to read a few more little tidbits here that I found. They're really interesting. So talking about ventilators. Not a good idea to be put on a ventilator unless you absolutely have to. Page 67. Artificially ventilated patients require very close attention. Oxygen is forced through a tube into the lungs. it is not uncommon for a bacteria to hitch a ride and then cause life-threatening pneumonia. The risk of these hospital-acquired infections rises by the day, which is my medical students learn that the ventilator should be used no longer than is absolutely necessary. In contrast, COVID-19 patients were often put on ventilation early and without true need, and kept on the apparatus far longer than they ever should have been. This is page 68. Why? Because it was officially stipulated that invasive ventilation was the best means to reduce the risk of virus spread via aerosol to the personnel. However, aerosols probably play no important role in disease transmission. Very interesting. His COVID-19 patients received oxygen with simple respiratory masks, and he lost not a single life. Talking about a doctor who didn't put anybody on ventilators. So we're going to scroll ahead to the vaccine. Just some thoughts they have on the vaccine, why it's not good. It says, page 108, we propose that mass vaccination is not reasonable if a large part of the population is already sufficiently protected against life-threatening disease, as is the case for SARS, COVID, which is this, COVID-19. And they talk about prior in the book, which you'll read if you buy this book. They talk about how we always have coronaviruses, but there's different mutations of it. But because we already have immunity to certain coronaviruses, that immunity can also transfer to COVID-19. So we already have a lot of what we need. We have a lot of the defense system already in our body because we always are fighting off different coronaviruses. This is just a different strain, probably modified in a lab, but it's still a coronavirus. So a lot of people are probably already immune to it, and that's how that goes. And you need to buy this book and read this book so you can become informed, and you can understand what's actually going on, and get through all the hype and all the lies and all the misinformation. Page 109. We predict that vaccination will fail when a virus coexisting worldwide with man and animals continuously undergoes mutational change, when individuals become exposed to high doses of virus during spread of the infection. It's really interesting. Alright, so page 110 and page 111. This is very important. Gene-based vaccine, which is a lot of what the RNA vaccines, mRNA vaccines by like Pfizer, Moderna that they're working on, that they're releasing. So it says, in these cases, the viral gene is delivered to the cell, either as DNA inserted into a plasmid or as mRNA that is directly translated into protein following cell uptake. A great potential danger of DNA-based vaccines is the integration of plasmid DNA into the cell genome. Scrolling down, other dangers of DNA vaccines are production of anti-DNA antibodies and autoimmune reactions. Scrolling down again, page 111. It is inevitable that autoimmune attacks will be mounted against the cells. Where, when, and with which effects this might occur is entirely unknown, but the prospects are simply terrifying. No gene-based vaccine has even received approval for human use. These are brand new vaccines, and the present coronavirus vaccines, page 112, have not undergone preclinical testing as normally required by international regulations. Scrolling down, laws and safety regulations have been bypassed in a manner that would, under normal circumstances, never be possible. Scrolling down again. But the authors, talk about the authors of the book, wonder whether the Infection Protection Act can go so far as to permit genetic experiments be conducted on humans who have not been informed of the potential dangers. So these vaccines are extremely dangerous that you're taking. It's a brand new kind of vaccine. It's the mRNA vaccine. If you do research simply on RNA and what you can do with RNA, RNA again is like the chef. I'm cooking up the DNA, which is the ingredients. So you got to be super careful. This is a brand new kind of vaccine. Even if you believe that you're going to die of COVID or something ridiculous like that, and you really, really want a vaccine, you might want to look into this. I like this. It's a quote by Mark Twain. It's easier to fool people than to convince them that they have been fooled. That is absolutely the truth. Just a couple more quick little things and we'll be done. Abraham Lincoln once said, you can fool all the people some of the time, and some of the people all the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. You can't fool everybody all the time. So think about it. So you need to get this book. There's so many graphs and so much data that you can see. Earlier, they talk about how most people already have some of the stuff that they need to fight off the virus. A lot of people didn't even really get it, didn't have any symptoms. The main people who died of it were probably old or had lots of pre-existing conditions, that kind of thing. So you really need to consider those different facts and just take a look at that. So there's so much going on in the world. Those are the two main things that I wanted to cover today, just with the different stuff happening. There's so much going on. Next Wednesday, January 6th, is a big day. That's when Congress will get together to open the electoral votes and to certify them in place as being legitimate. So it's a big day. We all need to be praying. There's so many different things going on. Please go out and get this book. Become informed. Tell your friends and your family. Here's the research. Here's the data on what actually is happening. They're definitely pushing the numbers up. They're trying to scare people into taking this vaccine. The vaccine is extremely dangerous and volatile. I would not be taking the vaccine. Take it at your own risk. You have been warned. So today, again, is Monday, December 28th, 2020. This is the Live Free Vendetta Project broadcast. We're just going to pray real quick and end the broadcast for today. Thank you for joining us. Dear Lord, I pray that you be with the United States of America, be with all the different nations across the world. I pray that you would give people wisdom, help people repent and turn back to you no matter what happens. Come against these evil and wicked vaccines, expose the evil, help people not to take them, help people not to be harmed. I pray Donald Trump would get reelected, that things would start to turn back around, that he would continue to undo things that need to be undone, expose the evil and wickedness, expose the stolen election, protect the Christians around the world, help people repent and turn back to you. Bless us, Lord, give us wisdom about the future. In Jesus' name, amen. Thus ends today's broadcast, Monday, December 28th, 2020, Live Free Vendetta Project broadcast.
I'm not here to be liked, I'm here to expose all the facts. I'm here to fight for my right to be labeled ignorant trash. I'm a wrench inside the system, I'm a hammer hitting glass. 20 needles of adrenaline when you're trying to relax. I'm like a protester, rolling in